All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're just setting up the live streaming right now, and we should be live now. So we're live streaming on YouTube, we're live streaming on Facebook, as well as here in the Zoom room. And today's event is going to be like herding cats. Ladies and gentlemen, we had an idea last week, which was Neumi Nano Tips, which is if I had my time over and I look back at my younger self joining Neumi, what would I do differently? So the idea was great. And I said, maybe we can get just, 20 or 30 leaders online. I didn't realize that meant that I'm going to have to round up all 20 or 30 leaders and cats, some in other languages, all sorts of fun going on. So I can say this, today's event is going to take about 60 minutes. There are 22 leaders going to speak. There are 10 languages covered on today's call. If anyone is presenting live in your nano tip, please make sure you keep it to 60 seconds because every second that you go over is going to pad us out beyond that time frame. I've added a little buffer, but we should be good. We got people logged on right now live in the Zoom room from Canada. We have, what's that one? Or I don't know where that is. We have New Zealand, Virginia, another Canada, Tokyo, Japan. Welcome online, Perth, Western Australia, the Caribbean, Utah. We have Montana, Big Sky Country, California. We have Washington State. We have El Salvador. We have a great song. Thank you for that. You guys who weren't on live, don't hear that before we start. Spain, Texas, New Zealand again, Florida. I could keep going. I won't. Just going to delete a comment there. Don't ever put a link in the chat for anybody to click, please. That's one of the rules. And Ohio and Israel is online. And oh yeah, I could keep going, but I'm running out of time. All right, so let's get it going. Got a pen and paper? If you do, I'm going to share some nano tips. I have a list of leaders that are going to come up and pop up and share with you literally minute by minute. The first leader that's going to talk about if I had my time over is me. Okay, so firstly, my wife said that if you had your time over for today's event, you wouldn't invite 22 leaders. She is correct, right? But let's talk about something that I had a realization for the other day. And that is when I started Neumi, I had just broken free of losing everything and I was highly motivated to build my business. So back then, it's interesting, I would plug on into my ears positive podcasts and I would float around the pool and listen to them and keep my mind positive. And that helped me keep the trajectory very, very fast focused. What I realized recently is that I've started getting sucked into the vortex on social media of the he said, she said, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, megalomaniacs, fraud off the charts, all that rubbish, and getting really drained by watching it. Now, I'm not going to tell you my political opinion on any of that because it's irrelevant, right? This is business, and my religious opinions, my political opinions are all off the table when talking about this because everybody's welcome from every walk of life, whether they pro, anti something, doesn't matter. It's for everybody. So with that in mind, what I noticed that I saw myself the other day, I'm like, you know what's happened? I'm getting in this angry vibe about the world because media spins BS and the gullible swallowed up in mouthfuls all the time. And it makes me angry to see some of my friends conned by a mainstream media a headline. But what I realized, one finger pointing at you, three pointing at me, is I need to stop watching that rubbish immediately and put on my headphones and listen to a Brian Tracy motivational speech floating around the pool. And guess what happens? I'm pumped. I'm excited. My business is flying. So I'm going to start with that's the tip I would do if I had my time over again and again, right? Because I just started doing it. So one finger pointing at you, three pointing at me. But I can say it's already had a huge impact on my positivity, if you like. All right. So I'm going to alternate between videos. So the biggest tip there, what I'm saying to you is that make sure that you don't get sucked into watching all that rubbish, because if you do, you're just going to upset yourself and we don't want that, right? Now, I'm going to open up one of the videos because we're going to play a video, then a live interaction, then a video, then a live interaction. Why? Because there's so many languages. When you watch this playback, it's going to be hard to read subtitles all the time, but you've got a minute with subtitles, no subtitles, a minute with subtitles, no subtitles, okay? So with that in mind, the very first person we're going to kick off with, out of respect, is our newest rank advancement, all the way from Italy. So let's have a quick read of this. Now, pay attention to the captions and take notes.
Ciao a tutti, il mio nome è Davide, sono dall'Italia e volevo raccontarvi brevemente la mia esperienza affinché voi possiate evitare gli errori che ho fatto inizialmente. Devo dire che quando sono entrato in Neumi ho provato i prodotti, mi sono trovato bene, mi è stato introdotto da una persona che veniva dall'Ungheria, ma non avevo i giusti contatti con l'impresa e soprattutto ero coinvolto con altre attività, quindi ho beneficiato dei prodotti, mi sono sentito bene, ma non l'ho presa subito sul serio. E dopo 4-5 mesi invece sono stato contattato da un'altra upline con la quale ho approfondito l'attività, il business, mi è stato presentato il fondatore, tutti i dirigenti, ho iniziato a capire veramente la tecnologia rivoluzionaria di Numi e quindi ho iniziato a spingere nel business e ho creato un'organizzazione molto importante. Quindi la mia raccomandazione per tutti voi: prendete informazioni sin da subito, veramente questa è una tecnologia incredibile che fa la differenza e non aspettate, non tergiversate, non procrastinate e vedrete che otterrete dei grandissimi risultati. Questo sono io, il mio nuovo io.
All right. So, what did he say? Don't procrastinate, take immediate action, do it now. Now, David, or David there, I can't pronounce it properly, he's rocketed through the ranks, but he actually said, I'd start faster. Wow. Okay. So that's the first one. Next person I'm going to hand you to on a different topic and take some notes is Keith Chazon, my good buddy from Louisiana. So, Keith, if you had your time over, what would you do differently?
Well, Michael, I've been in the industry since 1989 when I first got started. The actions were make a list of names, get on the phone, spend an hour dialing, smiling and dialing, and reaching out to people, see if they ever look at other ways to create income, right? Well, over the years, things kind of changed, and I kind of got enamored by this concept of social media, online marketing, and I just completely misunderstood it. I mean, in the beginning, I really blast out my everything about my products, trying to sell, 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 sell. And what I learned is, and really transitioned over this last year, was to be more people oriented, create a following. How can you serve people, in their particular situation, what they're going through, and how can you help them? And as you begin to gain that trust, then once that happens, you create even a larger tribe. And then at that point, then they become interested in more things that you might be able to offer them. And I've been, sorry, that's when I've been kind of sharing the concept of Numi. Again, what I learned was don't blast your products online. Always, always, always spam, 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 but create a relationship with people, get their approval, right, of the relationship, and then through that interaction and that newfound friendship, they begin to trust you, and when they trust you, they partner with you.
Beautiful. Great advice. So spam less, connect more. Absolutely brilliant. Now let's go to a Spanish leader, Triple Diamond, Marco Boix. Have a listen to what he has to say.
Hola, hola, ¿qué tal familia Nimi? ¿Cómo estáis? Espero que estéis súper bien. Bueno, hoy quiero compartir con vosotros lo que haría si pudiera volver otra vez a empezar en Neumi. Y estoy seguro que lo que haría sería poder conectar con más personas, porque muchas veces al principio el miedo te evita que conectes con las personas cuando no tienes todavía la certeza. Y sobre todo, seguiría la lista de contactos, porque no he sido muy disciplinado con la lista de contactos. Estoy seguro que conectaría con más personas, seguiría mi lista de contactos y seguro que podría tener más resultados de los que he tenido ahora. Podría haber impactado a muchas más personas. Así que ese es el consejo que me doy a mí mismo después de este recorrido. Así que este es el nuevo yo.
Beautiful. So, what did he say? Write your list. Because if you don't write your list, you'll forget people. And there's probably people on that list that he's totally missed and forgotten because he never wrote that list down or hasn't gone back to the list. Now, I would be one of the first people to admit that that's me as well, because I'm not organized. I'm a lion, I'm an otter, organization, forget it. But that's a great tip. Now, moving over to a different language. Where are you? Lucy, if I can get you to unmute, and I'm going to bring on Lucy. Now, she's going to cover it in English and Russian. So over to you, Lucy.
If I were to start it over, I would create an environment that cultivates leaders instead of being the glue to everything and holding everything together myself. Because when you encourage people to take action, to think for themselves, leaders are emerged and they multiply. And this is when a business really starts to grow. So this year, Neumi kicked off with NYKO, New Year Kickoff. And this really showed this in action, this concept, where leaders across the world were encouraged, were inspired to do their own events. And they did small events, medium, and even large events. And this truly encouraged them to see their results, to get excited, to step up. And now they're doing these events on their own. And I am not even involved in these events. Business is happening and new leaders are stepping up. So I'm going to say this in Russian.
Beautiful.
Если бы я начала все заново, я бы создала среду, где рождаются лидеры. Вместо того, чтобы самой пытаться держать все под контролем. И когда люди получат возможность мыслить и действовать сами, самостоятельно, рождаются лидеры, и они умножаются. И это действительно помогает бизнесу расти. И в этом году был проект NYKO. И этот проект поощрил многих лидеров создавать свои мероприятия, маленькие, средние и даже большие. И результаты действительно их вдохновили, и они продолжают делать эти мероприятия без моего участия. И растут новые лидеры.
Beautiful. That was fantastic. And you know what? This is a great revelation. And I loved hearing that from Lucy the other day, because sometimes as a leader, we can be so involved in everything that we're in the way of empowering our leaders and getting out of the way so that they can run with it. And this is not the case with Lucy, but I've seen some leaders who get to say diamond and don't move on. That's because they're doing everything and they're not empowering others. So you want to hand the baton on and have other people and let them drop the ball, let them screw it up a few times, because you only learn by doing. Now, thank you so much for that, Lucy. And I love also the fact that we can have different languages, so Russian teams as well. Let's now go over to my good crossline buddy to hear from Peter Rayner.
Sziasztok, én Reiner Péter vagyok, Neumi dupla Diamond. Ha én ma újra kezdhetném a Neumi üzletet, egy dolgot csinálnék teljesen másképp. Nem magamra építenék, hanem rendszert, azonnal. Az elején gondoltam, hogy a siker azon múlik, én mennyire vagyok jó, mennyire tudok beszélni, prezentálni, meggyőzni. De ma már tudom, ez nem így működik. A network marketingben nem a legtehetségesebbek nyernek, hanem azok, akiknek van egy egyszerű, duplikálható rendszerük. Mert ha ma minden rajtad múlik, akkor az nem üzlet, az egy munka. De ha van egy rendszered, amit egy új ember is meg tud érteni, meg tud csinálni, és le tud másolni, akkor kezd el igazán növekedni a csapat. Gondolj bele, nem az a kérdés, hogy te mennyire vagy jó, hanem az, hogy egy új ember az első hónapban tud-e pénzt keresni a rendszer miatt. Nem miattad. Én ma már ezt csinálom. Egyszerűsítek, rendszerezek és a duplikációra építek. Mert amikor a rendszer működik, már nem rólad szól, hanem 10, 100 vagy akár 1000 emberről, aki ugyanazt csinálják. És ezt soha ne felejtsd el. Amikor a rendszer tiszta, a siker elkerülhetetlen. Szóval, ha én újra kezdhetném, nem dolgoznék többet, rendszert építenék hamarabb. Ez az új énem. Hi everyone, my name is Peter Reiner, Neumi Double Diamond. If I could start my Neumi business again, I would do one thing completely different. I would not build on myself. I would build a system immediately. In the beginning, I thought success depends on me, how well I speak, present, and convince. But now I know that is not how it works. In network marketing, the most talented people don't win. The ones who win are those with the simple duplicatable system, because if everything depends on you, that's not a business, that's a job. But when you have a system that the brand new person can understand, can follow, and can duplicate, that's when real growth begins. Think about this. It is not about how good you are, it is about whether the new person can make money in the first month because of the system, not because of you. Today, this is what I focus: simplifying, systemizing, and building for a duplication. Because when the system works, it's not longer about you, it's about 10, 100, even 1,000 people doing the same things. And never forget this: when the system is clear, success will happen. If I could start again, I wouldn't work harder, I would build the system sooner. This is the new me.
Beautiful. And that's music to my ears, because sometimes people will get themselves even to diamond ranks, guys, where they've gone, I don't need a system, and then they wonder why they hit the glass ceiling. It's like, what? Moving on, because it's about them and they haven't duplicated. So what Lucy said and what he said kind of is almost exactly the same thing, which is music to my ears to hear that as well. Now, let's move over to, where are we? Look at my list, Kevin David. So Kevin, you've got a lot of experience in the industry as well. Let me bring you on. What would you do differently?
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me on tonight. Well, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many years you have experience. We all try and reinvent the wheel when we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've got processes and systems for a reason, and they work. Neumi 1, 2, 3. I'll be first to say, when I joined Neumi just a couple of months ago, I wasn't following those systems. So we have systems because we have systems, and it's meant to bring people to success. So we sometimes make it much harder than what it's actually meant to be. It's probably because we're not following the system. And therefore, that's why I'm saying this is the new me.
Beautiful. Fantastic. See, someone with decades of experience can have that revelation in a new company as well. Now, somebody who's become a great friend of mine over the years, he was the first person to wish me a happy birthday because we were standing next to each other at the summit 2 years ago, and that is the awesome Italo. So he's going to do this in English and Spanish as well. Have a listen to what he has to say. Decades of experience as well.
Pero hay una pregunta que evitamos hacernos. ¿Realmente creo o solo estoy esperando? Porque una creencia no es un deseo cualquiera, es una certeza absoluta. Y cuando somos brutalmente honestos con nosotros mismos, la respuesta puede doler. Hagamos este ejercicio ahora. En la escala del 1 al 10, ¿cuánto crees en esta industria? ¿Cuánto crees en Neumi? En la tecnología Hydrostat, en los productos o en el sistema de duplicación. Y aún la más importante de todas, ¿cuánto crees en ti mismo? Ahora, si te encuentras que estás bajo 10 en alguna de estas categorías básicas, entonces hay espacio para mejorar. Seguimos la ley del progreso eterno o Kaizen, porque tus prospectos no sienten lo que dices, sienten lo que crees. Y aquí está la verdad brutal. No importa cuánto sepas, importa cuánto crees. Cuando yo personalmente comencé a elevar mis creencias, todo cambió. Y aún sigo trabajando en ellas. ¿Para qué? Para aumentar mi efectividad, la confianza en mí mismo, el entusiasmo y tener más deseo de tomar acción en forma sistemática. Ahora, ¿y tú qué estás creyendo? ¿Estás listo para tener un trabajo interno que cambia el juego externo? Porque cuando tus creencias cambian, tu negocio también cambia. Esto es Neumi. We all talk about beliefs, but there's one question we avoid asking ourselves. Do I truly believe, or am I just hoping? Because a belief is not a wish. It's an absolute certainty. And when we are brutally honest with ourselves, the answer can hurt. Let's do this exercise right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe in this industry? How much do you believe in Neumi, in the hydrotech technology, in the products, in the duplication system? And the most important one, how much do you believe in yourself? Now, if you find yourself below a 10 in any of these basic categories, then there is a room for improvement. We follow the law of eternal progress, or Kaizen, because our prospect don't send what you say, they send what you believe. And here is the brutal truth. It doesn't matter how much you know. What matters is how much you believe. When I personally began to elevate my beliefs, everything changed. And I'm still working on that today. Why? To increase my effectiveness, my self-confidence, my enthusiasm, my desire to take action systematically. And where are you believing right now? Are you ready to do the inner work that changes the outer game? Because when you believe change, your business change.
Beautiful. Now, guys, I want to add to this. If you had your time over, knowing what he just talked about, and by the way, there's a thing called the belief bucket. The belief bucket, if you could picture a bucket full of holes, and number 10 on the top and then down to number 1. So drill a hole where your belief in the industry is. Oh, it's a 6, Michael. Okay, drill a hole there. You know, where's your belief in the products? 10. Great, drill a hole up there. You know, where's your belief in yourself? 3. Okay, drill a hole there. Now, when you pour water in it, it all leaks out at the 3rd one, which means what? You don't need more product knowledge. You need self-belief knowledge. So what he's saying there is, if you had your time over, which is your deficiency and what would you study more? Maybe you know everything about glutathione because you've taken your eye off the ball and you haven't focused on people skills. I had a great conversation with a naturopath yesterday and I said, hey, you can know everything about the product, but if you don't have the people skills to have someone eating out of your hand asking the right questions, you won't do as well as someone with less knowledge than you that knows the right questions. So what's your Achilles heel? What do you want to study more? Next, let's go to Prue Hours from New Zealand. Now, Prue, what would you change if you had your time over?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Well, one thing that we did when we first started was we gave out heaps and heaps of bottles of product for samples. And what we found was that even though people got fantastic results, they very rarely went on and ordered or joined. And it took us a while to work it out, but then we realized that when somebody hasn't actually seen the information first, they just don't seem to place the same, I guess it's the same value on the product. So now we actually stick to the good old Neumi 1, 2, 3 system, which is fantastic. We send the videos first, we get them on a call with Michael, you know, to do the third party. And then if they're not fully convinced at that stage, then we might consider giving them a bottle of product to try. But otherwise, we don't do the freebies anymore. And so that's the new me.
Beautiful. And you know what? That's a revelation for me as well. When I first entered this industry, I had this great response with the glutathione precursor. I'm like, great, fill up a whole sack of this and like Santa Claus, give them to everyone. They'll all have the same results. And a few $1,000s later and a lesson, I'm like, that didn't work. So then when someone goes through watching videos and debriefing, I said this to someone the other day, this is what I do. You know, if you want to get a dog to jump through a dog door, how do you do it? You don't say, here's a dog treat, now go jump through, right? That's like, here's your product sample. Instead, you dangle it the other side and go, oh, you want a treat? Come through the dog door, you'll get a treat. So for me, I say, if I'm struggling to get someone to move through those steps, I'll say, hey, once we've actually chatted with Alex and debriefed, I've got some free product for you. And one lady the other day said to me, look, I don't have much time to talk at the moment, but I'm happy to get the free product. I said, that's okay. When you are free and have time to have the chat first, let me know. And then after that, we can get you the product. So it's my free sample. I'm not giving it to anyone unless it's justified. And that's a big lesson for a lot of people, okay? Some people waste money. Let's go to Greek now and have a listen to what George has over in, I was going to say Athens.
The new me. Δύο πράγματα που θα έκανα διαφορετικά αν είχα το περιθώριο να ξεκινήσω τώρα από την αρχή τη Neumi. Το πρώτο είναι ότι εννοείται θα μιλούσα πολύ περισσότερο στους ανθρώπους και το πλάνο αμοιβών. Με αυτόν τον τρόπο οι άνθρωποι θα ήξεραν, πολύ περισσότεροι άνθρωποι θα ήξεραν ότι μπορούν να πάρουν τα προϊόντα που έχουν τόσο πολύ ανάγκη χωρίς να τα πληρώσουν. Το δεύτερο πράγμα που θα έκανα θα ήταν να μιλήσω λιγότερο προσωπικά σε ανθρώπους, να κάνω λιγότερα προσωπικά ραντεβού και να οδηγήσω τους ανθρώπους να ακολουθήσουν τη στρατηγική 1, 2, 3 και ABC που είναι ό,τι πιο απλό υπάρχει και μπορεί να αντιγραφεί από καθένα πολύ απλά και εύκολα. Έχετε όλοι καλά.
All right. So the lesson there, just so I can, because I understand what he was talking about specifically, is leading only with product hasn't produced the sort of results he would expect. Whereas if you can lead with not business, not product, but the pendulum in the middle, opportunity, the opportunity to check out the 3-minute video, the opportunity to check out the opportunity overview and let them decide instead of playing God and going, we're just leading with product. That was the big message he wanted you to hear with that one. Now, Christine Francois, all the way from the Caribbean/Caribbean. Where are you? Here you are. What would you do differently if you had your time again? Oh, and you're muted. You are muted.
Thank you for inviting me to share, Michael. You know, I have to be talking to myself just as much as when I think about my team. So what I would do differently is to help my team get past the fear of inviting. And I was saying that to myself as well. So what we realized is that our biggest bottleneck wasn't a lack of interest. It was really about inviting people to take a look at the opportunity and by extension, building their lists. We realized that still a lot of people are afraid to pick up the phone. So we designed an invitation process that removed the fear. And for our region, especially with the NYKO, that was so instrumental in helping us. We introduced a personalized PDF invitation that felt more like a professional conference invite, you know, with the typical information, a compelling theme, you know, identifying our target audiences, and then 3 key questions that we would respond to in our in-person meetings. And then, of course, clear event details and instructions for RSVPing. And what happened, Michael and everyone, was that by introducing this, which is supporting our usual Neumi 1, 2, 3 layer, we found that our team members felt more confident about making those invitations, sending out the invitations, building the lists. And so we gave them something that really helped them to get past that level of fear. And what happened at the end of it was powerful because they leaned into a structured communication and nurture flow. And consequently, we saw an increase in numbers coming out into our meetings. We saw increased 3-way calls, and we saw an uptick in our enrollments. And of course, beside, even though NYKO ended at the end of February, we've decided to continue every single month so that we can keep this going as we build out our CRM as well.
Beautiful.
And this is the new me.
Now, there's 2 messages in there, guys, and I heard it from Lucy and a few others as well. The NYKO, I'm just going to say this, it wasn't a field idea. A lot of the things you are doing in Neumi 1, 2, 3, they're field-driven, field initiatives, field-created, field ideas. But the NYKO, that was corporate, all on corporate. And I said to Aaron, it's genius. It was the smartest thing I've ever seen. In my whole career of nearly 40 years, I've never seen a company start so fast at the start of the year. And that's because of NYKO. But what it's also done with what Lucy was saying, it's caused people to step up, and then you are not the one driving it as well. Now, when the other part of what Christine's saying, the invitation, I say this when I recruit, when I start most people in an orientation, I say, hey, Angelina Jolie, you don't hand her a script and she reads it once and goes, all right, turn the cameras on. No, she practices. So it becomes conversational. Now, out of all the things we do, connecting with new people, meeting new people, inviting, presenting, following up and coaching, the first one you need to master is invitation. So confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from practice. Guess what percentage of people practice? Probably 5%. Guess what percentage of people earn the top dollars in this industry? Probably 5%. No obvious clues there. So practice your invitation and get more confident. Now let's go to another person, Jean Grosso. Jean, you and I have had a lot of calls lately. So what would you do differently?
Hi, yes. Okay, so I'm going to share 3 things that I would do differently. I am a former health and esthetician of 30 years. So my first thing I would do over again is stop talking about the science and the ingredients in the products. And that was my one mistake that I did that I would definitely not do today. I would then focus more on the 3-way validation calls. That was something I didn't do in the beginning. I enrolled about 150 people in a few months' time, and no one duplicated because no one had anybody but me. So if they didn't like me or they, I wasn't available, they didn't know anyone else. And what I've learned about the three-way calls is, why wouldn't you do it? It's leverage at its best. All I do is sit back and mute and kick back. So that was a huge breakthrough for me. And the last thing I would do, I want to give 3 tips, and this one no one's mentioned yet, was on the list. Instead of writing the list that you have influence over all these people, like they're your friends or your family or people that you have a good relationship with. Instead of that being on the list, I would have gone right to what I call the most successful, influential visionaries, entrepreneurs. Maybe some people might call it the chicken list, but we have such a profound breakthrough and business model combined that they need to see this first, because those people are going to bring in hundreds and thousands of people, whereas someone with a lesser influence, they're still stuck on the product.
Beautiful. And you know what? I know Jean won't mind me saying this. When Jean first connected with me probably a couple of years ago and basically said she'd introduced X amount of people and, things were going up and down and up and down, I said I'd introduced less people than Jean. And I was crowned, right? And that was a revelation at the time for Jean. And I'm like, but it's okay. This has all been great lessons. If we learn how to tweak these other things about third-party validation, you'll get the same outcome as you go, and you'll introduce less people and get more traction. And that's really important to talk about. So that's great. Thank you. And the chicken list, big one. People's revelations. As soon as you hop on the chicken list, your wealthy people go, wow, show me what you got. And your broke brother-in-law Skeeter goes, it looks like a scam to me. And that's why he's your broke brother-in-law Skeeter, just so we're clear. Right. So let's move on to another language. Let's go to Polish with my beautiful friend Anita. Let's have a listen to this.
Dzień dobry, nazywam się Anita Zapała i jestem podwójnym diamentem Neumi z Polski. Czy jest coś, co mogłabym zrobić lepiej i to przyczyniłoby się do wzrostu mojego biznesu? Ależ oczywiście. Na pewno lepiej wykorzystałabym globalne narzędzie Neumi raz, dwa, trzy. Mamy tam podane na tacy wszystko, co jest potrzebne, aby nasz biznes wzrastał. Więc zachęcam do tego, aby bardziej z tego korzystać. Wszystkie materiały możecie znaleźć na swoim back office. Na pewno nauczę tego cały mój zespół i wiem, że przyniesie to ogromny owoc. I na pewno skupię się jeszcze bardziej na tych mniejszych spotkaniach na żywo, gdzie właśnie przekazujemy naszą wiedzę, gdzie przekazujemy te wszystkie narzędzia, które są w 100% do duplikacji. Pozdrawiam wszystkich serdecznie.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, I've got to say this, guys. It looks like I have purposefully, strategically picked all the right leaders around the world that are saying Neumi 1, 2, 3. I promise you, hand on my heart, swear on my grave, my kids' graves, my parents' graves, that's not happened. What surprised me is how many other languages have finally, and I say finally because they didn't at the start, have finally adopted Neumi 1, 2, 3 and all those languages as well. So if you're watching this and you're in any language and you're not doing that, just know you're becoming the Lone Ranger in a little tiny island like a shag on a rock on your own. Everybody else is duplicating a simple process in all languages. Because I had this conversation with one of my leaders in an Asian country the other day. Great leader, awesome. And I said, here's the thing. If you create your own slides and your own system, which are totally your right to do, what happens when you want to get out of this Asian country into another one? Then what are you going to do? Create that language and those, we've got a system. It's in 74 countries. It's in all these languages. Just duplicate it. It's simpler. And so sometimes people, and I'm not saying this person had the ego, but sometimes the ego will get in the way with some people where they're like, but I've done this for years. And they won't see the bigger picture that this company had a system from day one. That's the reason. The only reason I ended up in 40 countries with about 125,000 members in my team is because I had a system. I followed Alex's wisdom on creating a system from day one. It's not because I was special. I was driven, but I used a system, and that's the point. So now let's go to another person who's had a lot of calls lately on three-way calls and so forth, and that is Florence. What would you do differently, you and Christoph?
Thank you, Michael, and good evening, everyone. It's really an honor for me to be here, and it's been a great pleasure working with you, Michael. If I were to do this again from the start, I would get over my imposter syndrome of not wanting to bother anyone. You know, we were able, and I'm very grateful to have built my business with our crossline, with Anne-Laure in French and in France and Dennis in Canada. So the French-speaking group is very, very tight, and it's been a pleasure, but I haven't reached out upline. And so the other thing too is I want to, be humble and say, well, I thought I could do it by myself. And so it doesn't work that way. And when I hear Michael and all his experience and his wisdom and doing those three-way calls, I've learned so much. Christoph and I have learned so much. And I feel excited. It's no longer bothering because I'm learning, we're teaching our team, and those three-way calls are so important. And it's not just validation, but it's everything. It's asking the right questions, and that makes a big difference. So it's given me a renewed confidence in my abilities to teach my team and to really support them. And to many of the leaders who also shared this, so that this doesn't rely just on me, because that's a big mistake. We need to be, the system allows us to be duplicatable so that everybody can rely on themselves. So learning alongside someone who has had 40 years experience in the business is huge. And it's so amazing that we have that opportunity. So don't wait, just contact, your upline immediately. And I want to thank Brenda. I want to thank Karen Justice, Michael, of course, and Alex Monterosa. So thank you so much. And so in French, ce que je voulais dire, c'est qu'en fait, une des choses qui est en fait la plus importante pour moi, si je devais recommencer depuis le début, c'est vraiment de passer au-dessus de ce syndrome de l'imposteur, de pas vouloir déranger les gens, de pas vouloir en fait gêner et me débrouiller toute seule. Et en fait, c'est une énorme erreur. Donc, même si on a construit quelque chose de vraiment solide avec toute l'équipe francophone, c'est vrai que j'ai pas cherché à aller au-dessus et aller vraiment contacter en fait notre upline. Et donc, si je devais recommencer, ce serait vraiment ça, parce que c'est des gens qui ont énormément d'expérience. Et qui, comme l'ont dit d'autres leaders, notre équipe ne dépend pas que de nous. Du coup, on apprend effectivement à notre équipe d'être autonome, et ça, c'est hyper important. Et donc, ça m'a redonné de la confiance dans mes capacités à enseigner à mon équipe, à leur donner cette autonomie et à nous permettre à tous de grandir. Donc, merci à tous et bonne soirée.
Beautiful. I love the French accent, because you could be saying I'm taking the garbage out, but it sounds sexy. So, whereas Australians are going to say anything and it sounds ordinary. I just want to point something out too, guys. And this is important because we're going to come out with something about this soon. So we have blue events, which are open events by the company. We have red events, which are our own team events that we don't promote crossline. And then we have yellow events where we might collaborate. Florence and Anne are the rare individuals that landed on their feet with people that you can trust in all circumstances, meaning experience, no ego, not self-interest, collaboration. It's beautiful. And it's like a symphony. It's beautiful to watch and I love it. And that's an important thing. So collaboration is a good idea. Not everybody is a safe leader, meaning some people have a foot in another camp, still building another business. Not good to partner with someone like that, because you could potentially be throwing your people into the firing line of another company. So we're going to put some fencing around that if we're going to do collaboration events or announce something like that. Secondly, I've had people who've partnered crossline before where one doesn't have experience and one is the loudest voice and one doesn't listen to coaching and then has misguided the other team and screwed it up for them. And I'm like, well, if you had have asked me, I wouldn't have told you to follow that person, because it's all theory, it's ego they haven't produced and they're talking off the top of their head. Read a good Eric Worre book once. So you don't always find the right people. So just collaboration is a great thing. We want that. We love all our Neumi family, crossline, what have you. Just be careful to go in with your eyes open and partner with someone who is safe and does have no self-interest and all that sort of stuff at top of mind. But first option, as Florence has said, go upline. So you go to your upline, they don't know what they're doing, ask their upline. They don't know, their upline. You'll eventually end up at a diamond if you keep doing it. All right, now let's go to where are we? I didn't put my video in time. Yes, and here it is. Now let's go to my Latin dancing coach, which, believe it or not, I dance like Steady Eddie, but my Latin dancing coach, Juanita Santillan. Have a listen to this.
Hello, my name is Juanita Santillan, and what I am doing now differently is that I am using our Neumi 123 in live events here in Chicago, and it is absolutely working. Number one, connect to tools. First, download the guide, make a list of 100 names, write them down, contact them, and send them the 3-minute video, and book a live launch event with 1, 2, or a few at an event in their home or meet at a coffee shop. Number two, connect your leaders. I like to connect them to our founder, Stephen Scott, in the live Zoom call that he does, or send the recorded one. Number three, connect to the product. When you are live with them, you could share the Neumi spray, spray it on one hand, see the difference between the two. Then take a picture before of the hair, spray with our hairspray, and you will see amazing results. Have them taste the product. They will fall in love with the product, register them, and teach them the Neumi 123. So get out of your comfort zone and do live events. This is the Neumi. Thank you. Y ahora, soy Juanita Santillan. Lo que estoy haciendo diferente es que estoy ahora utilizando el Neumi 123 en eventos en vivo aquí en Chicago. Y está funcionando de maravilla. Número uno, conéctate a las herramientas. Primero, descarga la guía, escribe los nombres, 100 personas, contáctalos, envíales el video de 3 minutos y agenda un evento de lanzamiento en vivo para 1, 2 o un grupo de personas. Y de esa manera pueden reunirse o posiblemente en una cafetería. Número 2, conecta las personas a tus líderes. A mí me gusta conectarlos a nuestro fundador Steve Scott en una llamada en vivo por Zoom o una llamada grabada. Número 3, conéctate a los productos. Me gusta utilizar el Neumi Spray en una mano para que el cliente vea la diferencia y lo sienta y se enamore. Me gusta también tomarle foto de la persona antes de su cabello, ponerle el spray, tomar otra foto y decir wow, y que prueben el producto. Después de probar productos, se enamoran, dicen quiero ser miembro, ¿ahora qué hago? Los conectas con Neumi, los registras y les muestras este sistema que se llama Neumi 123 en vivo, y de esa manera ahora este es mi nuevo yo.
All right. Now, I don't know whether it was the endless margaritas or her amazing dancing coaching, but man, you should have seen us light up the dance floor on the last cruise. Might have been a combination of the two. Now, something that was said in that call I want to draw some attention to, because we said connect to tools. We didn't say which tool, but if you ask most people, it's 3-minute video opportunity overview, then the other tools, most. But some people might vary from that, and we're not making you right or wrong. Connect to leaders, for me, I'm looking at Kevin right now. He knows I get me on a call, get a one-on-one rather than a group. He's doing this, right? Because one-on-one, I can discover their needs, wants, and desires and tailor Neumi's answers to the individual. In a group call, I can't. Getting them on Steve's call is a great idea to connect to leaders as well. But on that on its own, I didn't even know how I did that. But on that on its own, you're not connecting to the individual's needs, wants, and desires. So you'll pick up more customers, but not as many members, because Steve doesn't talk business. Steve talks product, just so we're clear, right? So just my little tweak on that is the more often you can get someone on a 3-way Zoom call with an upline who's going to build rapport, greeting, qualify, then invitation, you'll get better results. Now, you can't get everyone under those, and there's no right and wrong. So it's not wrong connecting with Steve. Connect them with Steve as well as connecting them with an upline, right? The more people you connect them with, the better. In fact, the more connected people feel. Now, with that in mind, let's go to Beth Amanette. Where is Beth? I'm just looking at the screen. Beth, there you are. So Beth, if you had your time all over again, if you want to unmute, what would you do differently?
Boy, I've been listening to all these people and I would have done all those things. But, the list, the not quite grasping the whole compensation plan, not understanding the power of three enough to express it. I just jumped in, and I didn't have enough list to keep going and sponsoring new people. But I tell you what, I have learned that I really wish I had known in the beginning. And I knew it was good. I knew Steve Scott was a wonderful person. I knew that a lot of time and money had been put into this product line. But gosh, the company was only 6 months old when I joined. There were 5,000 people in it. Now, 4 years, over 4 years, what a miracle this stuff is. I mean, it's literally changing lives. It's not just another company. We have something here that is completely unique. And so I didn't realize that in the beginning, not to the degree that I do now. So that's what I would have loved to know and done, along with all the things that everybody else has said tonight. They're all very valuable, and I'm going to watch this video over and over again to drill it. Thank you. Where's Michael?
Okay.
Michael.
Can you hear me? We had a technical crash here, guys. A technical crash. Yes. So if someone could spotlight my camera for me, I'm not actually host now. I'm on my phone. So if someone could just click the spotlight, and that will change. Poor Beth was left hanging there in the last second. So I'm just going to wrap it up, guys, because we're missing one more video, which I would have loved to play, but unfortunately my laptop literally died, and I don't know why.
Oh my
right
God.
in the middle of the event. In the middle of the event, and I'm hitting the button.
You got to get away
somebody,
from that
whoever's okay, you're beautiful. Can you just transfer it and make my camera the spotlight? I'm not sure if that is happening because I'm on the phone, guys.
You are spotlighted, and Prue was made host all of a sudden for some reason.
Beautiful. Fantastic, guys. All right. So as you can see, I have a green screen normally, so we've moved. So guys, do me a favor. Type in the chat. Have you heard some new and interesting things, or have you heard, because repetition is the mother of skill, over and over and over again, that people are coming to the same realization that there's things that they would have done differently if they had their time over, and a lot of it's linked back to using a third party. Yeah, a lot of it's linked back to following a system that's duplicatable in every single language. Now, there's other things that people have said, starting faster, going to your chicken list, all that sort of stuff is relevant, very relevant as well. But there is common feedback, and success leaves clues. And I wanted to do this event because sometimes I'll sound like a broken record, because I'm only telling you authentically from my position what made me crown in 12 months. But some people have taken longer to learn exactly what I was saying, that's what I've realized. And the commonality of the feedback now says it spot on, that this is the difference that will make you accelerate your business faster than if you didn't do that. Okay. Now I'm just having a quick look at my list. Bear with me, guys, because unfortunately, because I had my computer died, even my list of presenters for the rest of the call has disappeared. So if you just give me 10 seconds, this is one other factor I can tell you guys, that if you are new to the industry, even live streaming comes with its challenges. But if you have done it before, you realize that the world didn't end. We just needed to click a few more buttons and we're good. So Eric, you're the very last person to speak while my computer probably restarts itself. So while we're waiting and praying for that to happen for one more video I've got, if someone could just unmute Eric Monson, he's going to say in Spanish and in English what he would have done differently. Over to you, buddy.
Muchísimas gracias. Un enorme saludo para todos desde la bella República de El Salvador. Si yo tuviera que arrancar nuevamente, tal vez le pondría mucho trabajo a controlar el ego, a poner stop a esa necesidad de tratar de ser siempre el más inteligente en el salón. Trataría de dejar de perder tiempo haciendo nuevos entrenamientos, nuevas presentaciones o todo ese tipo de cosas que se ven muy bonitas, pero que en realidad no son la esencia del negocio. Me enfocaría, tal como han dicho muchos de los oradores previos a mí, en dejar de reinventar la rueda y simplemente en seguir lo que las personas que efectivamente están teniendo resultados nos han dicho una y otra vez que tiene que ver con el 1, 2, 3. Yo escucharía una y otra vez y tomaría muy a pecho todas las enseñanzas que tenemos de estos grandes maestros, en mi caso particular de Alex Monterrosa, de Michael Firth, de Karen Justice, Ítalo Elgueta, de Dina Guillén, que realmente me han demostrado cómo se trabaja todos los días. Conectar a la gente con las herramientas que la compañía nos da, conectar a los prospectos en llamadas con mis uplines más exitosos para ayudarme a desarrollar credibilidad y confianza, desarrollar mi propia empatía personal y, por supuesto, conectar a la persona con el producto. Simplemente darle rinse and repeat. Y simple, es así de simple porque funciona. Y este es mi nuevo yo. Okay, now in English, if I had to start all over again with new me, I would just stop wasting time making my own trainings, new presentations, and all that fancy stuff. Just tame the ego. Stop trying to be the most intelligent man in the classroom. Work more helping other people evolve, helping other people discover what they're capable of. Work on my empathy towards other people. And of course, just as the other guys have said all over again, I will follow what the leaders who are really getting their result, having their results, have told us over and over again. And it's just follow the 1, 2, 3. Put every prospect in contact with the tools of the company. Jump in a call with my most successful upline, and of course, make them try the product as soon as possible. So rinse and repeat. It works. It's simple, and that's the new me.
Beautiful. And I'm back on the computer. So there you go. Crisis averted. So thank you, Prue, for catching the ball. And sorry, Beth, for leaving you hanging like that. But that was brilliant feedback from Eric as well. There was only one more video I wanted to play. And this is important too, because this person and I knew each other in the previous company and they'd never hit diamond. Yeah. And they had heaps of glutathione knowledge. But she said her revelation was systems when she got into Neumi, and that helped her to achieve double diamond. But she also said some interesting things which I think are absolutely valid, and I want to share this. So this is my awesome friend and one of the founding advisory board members, Rhonda Dasher. Have a listen to what she has to say about what she would do differently as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Rhonda Dasher and I'm a double diamond with Neumi. I have been with Neumi since its inception in 7/7/2021. We came out of the gate fast. And when I look at now going back and looking, what would I have done maybe differently? I think for me, I would have looked at whether or not someone actually desired to be a networker, or if someone really wanted to grow a business, or did someone just want to enjoy our products at the wholesale pricing and be a customer and be happy with the benefits and maybe not growing a team? As networkers, sometimes we want to put everyone in the business and expect everyone to grow the business, but some people just want the amazing benefits of our technology. Maybe I would have done a little more culling in that aspect and allowing people to choose. Am I going to be a member, a distributor, a business builder, or do I just want to take this technology and enjoy the benefits of HydroStat? I hope this helps.
Beautiful. Now, has that tip been helpful for anybody, right? Because I think we've also all done that before, where we're trying to force someone into a position of being a member, and that's just not what they're after. So, you know, meet them where they're at. So guys, I hope you got a lot out of this event. Thank you for catching the technology challenge in the middle. I said we'd be finished right on the hour. We are, but I want you to do me one final favor before we go. Please, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're here in the Zoom room, if you got a lot out of this call right now, type a number 1 in the chat. Type a number 1 online, and then when your members who weren't here today, haven't seen this event, maybe go within about an hour, maybe 2 hours, because I've got another 3-way call in a minute. We will have this recording in the Neumi members group, and you can tag all of your team, because success leaves clues, And these amazing leaders have shared with you in all languages, 10 languages today, 22 leaders, I believe has been absolutely spectacular. So thank you for everybody for sharing today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next event. All the best.